Okay, this is the final video for a regression analysis report. This is summarizing everything that we've done. Any point along the process you don't know what on earth I'm talking about, please go find the relevant video in the YouTube channel, and that will explain all. Okay, so this is in your summary notes that Martine put together for you. So when we do a scatter plot, so we're looking for a strong, moderate, weak, positive, negative relationship between whatever the response variable is and whatever the explanatory variable, and then you'll get your correlation coefficient, which is your R, to explain this part here, and then you also say if there's any outliers or not. We also learn about how to get the equation of the least squares regression line. There's a couple of ways we can do that. There's a whole video on that if you look back through the channel. And then we looked at the slope of the regression line, so interpreting the slope, interpreting the y-intercept, and looking at the coefficient of determination, which is your r squared as a percent, which is looking at our predictability. And then we looked at residual plots, and if it shows a clear pattern or not, which is where we can either use a linear regression or not. So there's the two examples of those. So please note each of these sentences can be individually asked for in a various exam question or SAT question. So you don't need to, if you're just asked about interpreting the slope, you're not going to write all of that just to do this part. So please make sure you read the question, especially in the exam. So for example, a whole report here that goes through all of those things. From the scatter plot, we see that there is a strong negative linear association between the price of a second-hand car and its age, R equals negative 0.964. There are no obvious outliers. The equation of the least squares regression line is price is equal to 35,100 minus 3,940 times the age. The slope of the regression line predicts that on average, the price of these second-hand cars decreased by $3,940 each year. The intercepts predict that on average, the price of these cars when new was $35,100. Just please bear in mind that you can have any variation of that sentence as long as it's saying the same thing or meaning the same thing. The coefficient of determination indicates that 93%, so that is our R squared in there, 93% of the variation in the price of these second-hand cars is explained by the variation in their age. The lack of a clear pattern in the residual plot confirms the assumption of a linear association between the price and the age of these second-hand cars. Okay, so if you are asked to do a full report on a linear regression between two variables, this is what we need to see. So each of these parts here. So have a go. There's quite a few good examples in the textbook. And also you would never have to do something as extravagant as this in an exam. It might be just various parts that they would get you to investigate. You'll definitely need to do something like this in the SAC as well for data. Hopefully that has helped. And look, 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes. Look at me go, kicking goals.